after a state agency delayed opening its doors for the purchase of last season's produce. Elvis Kosgei joins us with that story. Elvis Kosgei, good morning. This is not the first time farmers are raising concern about importation of maize, yet they have their own that they've harvested. Bring us up to date with what you have for us on your side.
Thank you, Brenda. Farmers are at it again. They are staring at a bleak future. Remember, the National Cereals and Produce Board usually opens around November, there October, and closes its doors around January. But it's now January. This is another planting season, but the NCPB has not opened its doors yet. Now, according to some farmers, I've managed to speak to the director of Kenya Farmers Association. They're now alleging that the state is planning to import maize, yet farmers still have some stocks in their farms. And just to keep up to speed, I'll be speaking to Kipkorir Arap Menjo just to paint a picture of what has been happening. I understand that we've been selling maize at between 3,000 shillings to 3,200, but NCPB up to now has not opened its doors. Maybe, what's the cause of the alarm?
Yeah, as it is, that's for the farmers, actually, they don't have any problem right now because the prices are good for them, which is what we have been fighting for. The major challenge is that SFR disposal of all the maize, which was intended for emergencies in case of any shortfall. And as we speak, Ministry of Agriculture have indicated that this year's crop is going to be 33,000 bags, and last year was 44,000. So there's a shortfall already of about 9 million bags. And besides that, SFR dispose of all their strategic reserves, so the stores are empty. So it is surprising that they didn't purchase anything to take care of any emergencies. And you know, as it is, there'll be a deficit which is required to be breached. So before they do that, how will they feed Kenyans when that time comes? So in a nutshell, what they are doing is that they have not purchased maize deliberately so that there will be an excuse to import all the quantities required come that time. And they can easily import more than what is required. That means the market will be flooded in the coming months. That is from maybe June, July. They will have a lot of maize, which will affect the crop which will be planted this year. So the government should be watchful to ensure that whatever is imported should be to the extent of the deficit. And I don't know how they'll do it now because some of the maize which is being sold currently, I understand is finding its way to the neighboring countries because there's demand of this maize all over. There was a shortfall within the region. So if they are selling, whatever is here is taken out of the country, it means that the shortfall is even going to be wider.
So it means the middlemen, and some say the unscrupulous traders, will come again and sell this maize to the government.
Not really. They will import more. The importation which is going to come this year is what we are worried about. It's not that there will be no shortfall. Yes, the shortfall is there. And the importation will be definitely be done to bridge the gap. But the main concern is what quantities will be brought in is what is worrying. Because usually they take that advantage to bring in more so that by the end of the year, farmers who will have planted their crop will have nowhere to sell their maize. So we have to be keen on what's going to happen in future for the farmers who are going to plant maize now. But as it is for today and the way it is going, I mean, the farmers are happy because they are getting value for their sweat, which is okay. That is it. That's what we want. Because, you know, this year they never imported any maize from outside. Even the neighboring countries, they never brought in any maize. And that has given the farmers a competitive edge, and they have gained a lot, which is good. That's what we want, so that at least I think they will go back to their farms smiling and at least sending their children to school without much ado. But my main worry, and the worry of majority of the farmers, is what quantities will be coming in to bridge this deficit when it comes to the importation season, which I know will be coming. Not for, I mean, in the next maybe 3-4 months, they'll have to bring it.
So you're saying there's unfair competition between the local and the foreign producers?
Yeah, that is usually what happens. And you know, the unscrupulous businessmen take advantage. So the government must be vigilant. I think when it comes to the coming season, they have to be watchful again to ensure that the farmers continue enjoying value for their sweat. And the other critical aspect which is on the way, and we need to be watchful, is to ensure that the inputs going to be supplied now will also meet the standards the way it was last year. You know, last year there was no fertilizer from the government, which was subsidized. All of it came from the private sector, which is okay. But we need only, if it is to be subsidized, let it go through the cooperative movement. Because with the cooperatives, they'll reach they really need the farmers, rather than using the old method, which has always been benefiting a few unscrupulous individuals. So that is an area which I think we need to streamline as we enter into the planting season. That is a critical part or area of it. Yeah.
Finally, we are in January, and does it worry you that up to now NCPB has not opened its doors?
Yeah, it is worrying, because what I know is when they want to release cereals to the millers in case of that emergency, there will be nothing to release to the millers, which is really disturbing, because I know that will ensure the produce, or rather the millers, will hike the prices of the 2 kg packets to astronomical levels, because they will take advantage of the shortfall, and they know that you have nowhere to run to. So that is really very wrong, because the government usually acts as a stabilizer of prices. So as it is, without anything in their stores, how will they stabilize the prices? That means the millers and the businessmen will have a field day, and they'll take advantage of that to exploit the consumers to an astronomical levels.
But as the director of the Kenya Farmers Association, I understand that you had several meetings last year with the SFR chairperson, Noah Wekesa. You also had a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture, Mwangi Kiunjuri. Maybe, what was the way?
All right, Elvis Kosgei talking